Bar Down Breakdown, episode 171. And you recognize that handsome bearded face. That is Justin from Outatime coming to hang out since Tom still has Mr. Deeds foot. So, Justin, what is going on, brother? I thought that this was going to be a morbid conversation. I thought for sure the Bolts were going to be down 0-3 and you
Nope.
would just be a little sad boy. But here we are. You guys got a little life in you.
Yeah. It's funny. We have 3 Rangers fans at work. One of them's my manager, and it was like the first game. I walk in and he's wearing his Rangers hat on, and I had like my quarter zip jacket, and I just look at him and I unzip it, and you just see my Bolt shirt underneath. He's like, "This is gonna be a long series." I'm like, "Yup." But I mean, congrats to the Rangers, honestly. Like, beating Tampa twice in a row was a record breaker. I mean, honestly, like the Bolts had gone undefeated. They've never lost 2 games in a row in the playoffs. So
Under Cooper, right?
under Cooper, yep.
So
congrats to the Rangers for breaking that streak. But I mean, at the end of the day, we got 2 back-to-back. I've seen 3 in my lifetime. I'm okay with this season.
Yeah, it kind of shows just how special what the Islanders did in the 80s is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a different time then. Like now in the cap era, I don't think that's ever going to happen again. But it does still show how special that was, because it is a grind to win 16 games and 16 games and then do it 4 years in a row. That's insane. So I don't think anyone thought that the Rangers were going to be here. They've definitely rebounded. They got the right piece in place. But to think that it'd be in the Eastern Conference Final, maybe only Tom thought that, because Tom is a closet Ranger fan. He talks about them more than the Islanders on this podcast. But it's cool to see, especially since there's so many New York transplants down in Tampa.
A ton.
I don't know how the rule would be keeping the opposing fans from wearing their jerseys in the arena. I don't think that's gonna be able to happen.
No, that's like trying to get the Red Wings fans not to wear their jersey. Like, it's impossible. Especially with New York, they went so long without winning a cup. Like, they got so close, and I wanted to see Hank hold up a cup real bad too. But yeah, this is pretty special for them. I mean, it's their, Hank's no longer in the show anymore, but I don't know. It'll be cool seeing kind of like the Rangers go to a final to get obliterated by Colorado.
It does seem that way. Like the way that they've handled Edmonton so far.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Who's gonna stop them? But wilder things have been done. We shall see.
I don't know. They've kept McDavid in check. I thought McDavid would have won one game. Just McDavid, just him playing on his own with Draisaitl tossing him a fucking pass. But no, they've kept him in check, and it's been real interesting to see.
Now, what are your takes on that Evander Kane suspension? I feel like that was soft. I don't think even he only got 1 game. I still think that was a little excessive. I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary that you don't see in every single game. He put the stick on the numbers on the back, but that
I feel like Tom Wilson does that all the time.
Literally every game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the West plays a little bit different. Because you would never see that in the Metropolitan or even the Atlantic, at all. I feel like it's Forbes and I talk about this all the time. It's the difference between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Is the Western Conference all about speed and skill? In the Eastern Conference, we have some teams that are definitely on par with the speed and skill. But I feel like the Eastern Conference teams, especially the Metropolitan Division, they are just rough, tough, and good. Like, they're just good hockey players, but they will, like, to quote, spoiler alert, the last episode of Shoresy, like, you got to give it to them. And they remember
wait a second. You've already watched the whole entire series and are on the last episode?
I'm already done with the last episode. I'm waiting for the next one.
How many have come out? So, like, the
6.
whole...
Yeah, there's only 6
is it
episodes.
half a season or
yeah, I think
that's
so.
a whole season?
That's pretty much like what they do with like Letterkenny in general, is they only do like 6 episodes. But yeah, I mean, it's just how the East works. Like, you put them up on the boards and you just fill them up.
So can we talk about Shoresy? Because obviously I've watched Letterkenny. I have not gotten a chance to watch Shoresy yet, but it's kind of adjacent. There's some similar faces in this show, right? But it's more obviously hockey focused than Letterkenny.
Yes.
Okay.
It is very hockey focused.
Because that's kind of like what everyone told me years ago when Letterkenny first came out. They're like, "Oh, you got to watch this show. You're going to love it. Like, it's a hockey show."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, "Okay." And I started to watch it and I'm like, yeah, there's like the two like bros that play hockey, but I wouldn't call this a hockey show at all.
Yeah.
And I kind of made it through a season, maybe a season and a half, and I just it lost my interest and I gave up on it. So I guess Shoresy being, as you say, more hockey focused, do you think I would like it? Or is it still like the same dry Canadian humor like Letterkenny?
It's a little bit more like hockey trip focus. So if you hated Riley and Jonesy, there's a possibility you might not like Shoresy. But
I wouldn't say that I necessarily hated those characters. They just were so like they were kind of minor roles that there wasn't a lot of them.
They're kind of like one-dimensional almost.
Yeah.
I feel like with this one, like you definitely see some familiar faces. I think it's really cool how they show other areas, not other areas, but like other kind of like parts of Canada. So like you have like a Newfie on the team, and like he's just all Newfie talk. Like he just has that thick like Newfoundland accent. They have like 2 people from Montreal that only speak French, and they have like your typical kind of like just Ontario lacrosse player, hockey player, but they play up in like the northern parts of Ontario. They call it it's AAA whale shit hockey, but it's just like it's just kind of cool, like just seeing how hockey is outside of the United States, where people actually give a shit about it. Because we don't really have like a lot of minor league hockey in the United States outside of like the ECHL. And this is like basically like one step above beer league.
Okay. So are they older washed up guys or younger guys trying to make it to the next level?
They're like a senior league, so 30s up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's like the premise of the show? If you could give me like Spark Notes version of what the show, like, what's the hook? Like, why would I watch this?
So it's centered around one character, Shoresy, who is always a pain in the ass in Letterkenny to everybody. So essentially, like, he's the guy that like chirps everybody. He talks shit about their moms. Like, this is just who he is. Everybody hates to play against him, but they love playing with him because he loves to win and he hates to lose. So that's the whole premise of this show is that he gets shipped up to what they call like the no-show league, which is like the Northern Ontario, and he's on this team, and the league only has 6 teams, so they're consistently playing the same 6 teams, but they were down 20 on the season, and they just lost to the number 1 team like 6-0. So that's how the show starts, and he's like, he basically like, you know, goes to the GM, and the GM's like, look, if we lose another game, we're going to fold, like the whole club. He's like, we'll never lose another game if you let me bring in like these players. So he builds up like a first line, and it's all about how they take this like somewhat like shitty team and build it up into like one of the best teams in the league. But it's also a lot of like character growth and development too, which is really cool.
And I know that there's like tons of cameos, lots of like, you know, RA from Spittin' Chicklets, John Morasti from like the Syracuse Crunch, and what's his name? I want to say John Ryan, but I know that's not Terry. No, Terry. No, I'm not gonna remember it, but he's actually got a show on the Hockey Podcast Network. I probably should know that.
You're like, I should know this one already.
Terry Ryan, that's it.
Yes.
Terry Ryan's in it.
And it's funny too, because like they bring them all on for they do like the bro dude energy, like on the ice, where they talk about like the senior leagues and the senior championships. And that's where they have all these people on, and they're all just kind of like talking about Terry Ryan's on it. Everybody that's kind of like going on, like all the goings on, and they all know this one player, Shoresy. Like everybody has encountered him at some point in his life, and RA's like, fuck you, Shoresy, like every time he's on there.
All right. I guess
it's good. I would say give the first 2 episodes a good watch. But it is way more hockey focused than Letterkenny is.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, it's good for hockey to have a pop culture show that maybe someone who's not a hockey fan but thinks it's funny will start watching, and then maybe they turn into a hockey fan. And, you know, think about Slapshots when it came out in the 80s. There might be like diehard hockey fans who never watched hockey before but became a hockey fan because of Slapshots, and they thought that like the Hanson brothers were real characters that you could see. And to be honest, in the 80s, there were tons of characters like the Hanson brothers in the NHL. So there is a little parallel there, and maybe that did happen, which is kind of cool. And hopefully that happens with Shoresy.
With Sean William Scott's Goon too.
Yeah, but I don't think like Goon reached the markets of like non-hockey fans.
No, I think it was more of it's more of hockey fans really enjoyed it, and there's like a really big underground cult for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think
because it is a really solid hockey movie.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like that the scene where he's like taking a puck in the face at the end of the like getting the skate on his face and everything, and like there's not an ounce in your body that's not like, bro, I like you just want to get out there and like.
Well, they made a sequel too.
Sequel's terrible. Terrible.
I haven't seen it yet.
Not worth your time. But we're not here to talk Shoresy, even though it sounds like we were. I was just curious, and you know, instead of me texting you about it and asking you about it on a phone call, I'm like, I might as well ask him about it on a podcast.
Yeah, it's hockey themed.
Hockey themed. So why we're really here, and obviously it is just our normal weekly episode, but we announced a doozy. I feel like that's all we do now. We come on this podcast and just announce cool shit. Announce cool stuff that we're doing. And that is our Elder Emo Night Out at Hourglass Brewery in Orlando, Florida, presented by Convicted Printing, which will be on June 24th, hosted by Joshua Roberts of Magnolia Park. We got 6 live sets, DJ set. Like, we're going to dive into all of that, but this is going to be a party. This is like kicking off Bar Down Breakfest.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in town early or if you live in Orlando, definitely need to come out to this because this is just going to be a party.
And it's free.
And it's free. Free 99. Like, can you get better than that? See 6 live bands. And we're not just talking like live local, crappy bands. We're talking 6 touring bands. We got bands from Canada, Milwaukee, North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina. Like, come on, free? Like that does we just don't know how to run a business because that doesn't make any sense that this is free.
Yeah, well, it was just it was funny. I was just at Hourglass yesterday, just kind of like hanging out, shooting the shit. And I was just like so excited. I was just like imagining like where everything's gonna be, kind of like just imagining how like everything's gonna go. They were already playing like ska music, so it was already like a good fit already. It's gonna be a blast. I'm really excited to hear some of these sets. They are going to be special sets. All the bands are going to be playing some type of cover set. Whether it's going to be Gold Steps playing Paramore, us in Outatime, we're doing a Newfound Glory set. I think Aim High is doing like a Warped Tour compilation, greatest hits. So I don't even know what they're playing. That's going to be a whole hodgepodge of who knows.
I know. And I'm sure I can drop a few. We got a little local heroes with A Day to Remember. There's a few A Day to Remember
of course
songs.
They have to do that.
There's some Stories So Far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else was on there. They tried to throw a Newfound Glory song on there. I was like, sorry. Out of time, copyrighted Newfound Glory. They got that.
If it's anything after Coming Home, they're good.
No, it was one of the hits. So.
Oh yeah, we got most of those.
as you and I talked about today.
I don't even know what Sleeve's doing. I know Sleeve's going to do kind of like a medley of like emo hits, and then Frontside's going to be doing some of their original songs. And I think they're throwing in like 1 or 2 covers for that one too.
Yeah, it's going to be epic, dude. Like, also, I've never been to an emo night. I'm just going to throw this out. I'm hosting an emo night, promoting one and organizing one, and I've never been to one. And I think it's just because when I see pictures of them, I just get like tired. I'm just
that's why the Elder Emo Night Out.
Yeah, that's why we had to do the Elder Emo Night. Like, I'm too old for normal emo nights. I see them and they just look like EDM club photos, and it just does not seem like something my 35-year-old body would enjoy. And I could be wrong. I've never been to one. That I might go to one and absolutely love it. But I don't want to say like ours is going to be more of a laid back vibe because it's going to melt your face as well with all the live sets and everything. But it's at a brewery. It's a little more sophisticated, I would say.
A little more toned down.
A little more toned down. And I think that's more my speed. So I'm the target demographic for this event.
Oh, 100%.
So if you were like me and you're like, yeah, that actually sounds really nice, like I might be able to sit at a bench, then yeah, this is your event.
Oh, they're not benches. It's an actual like chair with a backrest.
Oh,
so you got that lumbar support.
Yeah. Perfect for the elder emos. Yep. Because yeah, it seems like they've like younged down the emo like phase from like the early 2000s and made it more of a club feel. And I don't know if that's what I want. So we're doing our own thing, and all these live sets are going to be absolutely epic. And let's show the sweet graphic because it still makes me giggle.
Emo Jonah Hill.
It's so good.
I feel like that was 21 or 22 Jump Street in that one. I don't remember.
One of the Jump Streets, but
it was so good.
It totally nails exactly like what the scene kids in the early 2000s were looking like, and I love it. It makes me laugh every time.
This is the Roaring 20s all over again.
Yeah, and basically in the notes to the graphic designer, I was just like, picture like an 80s night, but emo.
Yeah.
Because that's really what emo nights have become. It really is like when we were younger and our parents would go to 80s night.
Yeah.
Watch like cover bands or whatever. It's now the same amount of time between like when emo was like the revival of emo and 2022. Like it's literally the same exact thing. So
instead of living on a prayer, we're singing Ohio's for Lovers.
100%. 100%. That better be played, Joshua.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like almost positive he's gonna be doing that one or Nikki FM or what's another one that was really good? Even like some of the Silverstein stuff, like Smile in Your Sleep would be a good one. Anything off of like the early November or Gatsby's American Dream. So we'll see.
I'm all for tons of Gatsby's American Dream. I might give Joshua some suggestions because I need some spill canvas. I need to build my
And well, spill canvas actually, I don't know, like I think they live in Orlando now.
They used to. They're not anymore. That would have been an easy like slam dunk. But you've been to emo nights. You've played them.
Yep.
What kind of tunes are you hearing? Do you agree with me, or are they going back to the deep cuts in the early 2000s?
It's like a weird mix. So it's definitely like a lot of like the early 2000 stuff. They're playing like stuff off of Let It Unfold You from Senses Fail. But they're also playing like Bring Me the Horizon and like Amity Affliction, some of like the newer kind of like screamo-esque, like emo branch off genres, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to think of like some other ones that they played. I remember JT from Hawthorne Heights was the guest DJ, and he was playing all the oldies. My man knows his emo, and he was just like blasting like all like the throwbacks. It was just really cool. Just to watch him do his thing. But it was pretty cool, like meeting him and because I'm like, he's like emo legend. Like you throw him on Mount Rushmore with like Adam Lazzara and I mean, for lack of a better term, probably Jesse Lacey somewhere in the back, like covered up. But
it's just so funny because I would say 2003 or 2004 when I would say that this type of music was at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
And there were shows like Steven's Untitled Rock Show that I would literally race home every day from school to watch. And there was actually a TV commercial for the first Hawthorne Heights album.
Yeah.
That ran on TV and like would run on Fuse, but then it also sometimes made its way over to like MTV and VH1.
Yep. Well, they used to put like Nikki FM and Ohio's for Lovers on loop on like MTV and MTV2 back then, when MTV was still playing music. But
and then there was even the time that MTV with their shows like Room Raiders and Next. Remember was it Next?
They had like bands like Artist versus Poet on there. They had like they actually had like these like emo bands like coming on and like just like doing these sets. I think not All Time Low was All Time Low. I don't think was on one, but I know like Artist versus Poet was on there. I remember like MTV did a whole thing for Cartel, the band in a bubble.
Yeah, it really was at its peak, and it makes sense that these types of nights now are popping up all over the country. And I was talking to Forbes about that. I was like, every picture I've ever seen of an emo night, it is jam-packed, like floor to ceiling, wall to wall. Like it is just tons of kids come out. And I had to ask him, I was like, am I the only one that has noticed this? But have you ever seen like an empty or a dead emo night? Like,
no,
do they exist? And he was like, no, like they pop off every single
everywhere.
Time. So I'm super excited for this, and everything I've heard about Hourglass just makes me feel like we picked the perfect spot for this.
I feel like they have Outatime on rotation every single night. Like, I just remember walking in there, and then like I make eye contact with like Chauncey, and he's just playing like False Start or like the Taylor Swift cover or something, just blasting it too, like all over the brewery.
Yeah, so that they already are like pleasing our demographic and like playing our type of music, and they're not as like scared to do so.
No.
So I think that this night is going to be a perfect like way to kick off a really epic weekend, and I am so pumped. It's crazy how like all these little things that you and I were just like joking about, like, oh, we'll like have an emo night and we'll like have a festival, and like I was like, yeah, Justin, that sounds great. Like, let's do all of that. Well, here we are all these months later, and they have all happened. Like everything we said has, oh, we'll do like a whole tour down the East Coast. Yeah.
We'll bring in some of the bands
Justin.
in. We'll try to get some band from like Canada to hop in on it. We'll figure out their whole visa status and.
Jeez, like what were we thinking? We are so old. I'm like
the amount of like just midnight text messages or like waking up early in the morning and being like, oh shit, I gotta get this over to Kyle. I gotta get these documents over there. I gotta make sure like he can cross the border fine, or we gotta message this venue again, or what was the latest one? There's gonna be construction.
Like, construction or having a drummer for the Grease Rule. Like,
yeah, we pulled it off.
God, it was gonna be so much easier too. Like Tom was just gonna go play with them, but Tom then had to go get Mr. Deeds foot.
Yeah,
and
the
like
everything Quasimodo neck into the Mr. Deeds foot.
Yeah, everything that was thrown at us somehow didn't like just derail this whole thing, and now we're like in coast mode where we can just like continue to promote it, and then before you know it, we're gonna be all driving down to Orlando, ready to just have a sick weekend. Sorry, week for me because I'm going a little longer. But
yeah, it's just weird that it's 18 days away.
It's wild, absolutely wild.
Yeah, it's 18 days away from Elder Emo Night, and then 19 from Bar Down Fest.
Jeez. And it's so funny because like this event hasn't even happened, and I'm already making phone calls to places for year 2, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I got like the taste of blood. I just want more.
And I think we learned that as early as we did this, I think we needed like, it's one of those things like planning earlier. Almost.
Oh, dude, it's never too early. I wish like we maybe planned this a month earlier than we did. Because then like some of those earlier dates for the tour would have been fine. But like also we were just coming out of the pandemic, and we were like, is June safe? Like, do we think shows are going to be like good by June? And we're like, we'll take a chance. Like, yeah. And it seems like we're good, but that just goes to show how far back we were planning. Like, we were still unsure about everything.
Yeah, everything was still kind of like up in the air. We knew like bands were planning on things. Some tours got canceled, but it kind of like worked itself out almost towards the end of it.
And like when we first started the talks with the Crease Rule, like the border was still closed. We're like, yeah, we'll get you over, guys. Don't you worry. Like, yeah, the border might be locked and closed, but we'll get you here.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
Put you on a boat in Nova Scotia and just like drag you over.
Jeez. Oh, man. Well, we're not gonna just sit here and talk Elder Emo Night because it is what it is. It's gonna be an epic night. It's got all the right pieces that you could imagine, and it's gonna be super fun, and it's free. So like we don't really need to plug that away. Like if you don't come, you're
missing out.
You're missing out. Like there's no reason why you're not there. Let's pack the place out. Let's pack the parking lot out. Convicted is bringing their screen printing equipment with them, and you can just get shirts made on the spot. Like, how cool is that? You get to watch literally the screen printing process before your eyes. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
You got tasty craft beer. You got Magnolia Park, Joshua Roberts hosting it. Like, they're on the moon right now. Like, they're playing Slam Dunk Fest and Sad Summer and going on tour with Mayday Parade. Like, that band is at its peak right now. And we got them. We got our homie Josh
he's coming out to host it.
Hosting our event. Like, geez. High five. We did that.
I know. I was going to say, for those of the vegan persuasion, across the street from Hourglass, there's this little Mexican joint called Tamale Co, and they make all different tamales. And I got Forbes hooked on their vegan tamale, which is like a refried black bean, mixed vegetables tamale, and he devoured that thing.
Yeah, I think we still need to maybe get a few food trucks out. I know Hourglass usually has them, but let's get a bunch of food trucks out there this night too, and just have like a punk rock block party. Like,
literally is what we need.
Literally just
this emo block party.
Emo block party. Hell yes, I'm ready for that.
We're going bigger than emo night. It's going emo block party.
Emo block party. Oh. Well, before we go and talk the tour and the fest and what's going on with Outatime, because it's like a month to the day since No Boundaries came out.
Yeah, No Boundaries came out a month ago today.
Look at that.
It blows my mind.
I planned that. I was like, yeah, let me get Justin back. It's a month. No, I did not plan that. That just is coincidence. But yeah,
that's why you told me tomorrow night yesterday.
Honestly, I just did yard work and I couldn't move because I'm, like I said, an elder emo. And the thought of sitting in a computer chair for an hour just
does not do it for you.
Didn't do it for me. So I was like, yeah, let's do it another day. But yeah, before we talk all that other cool stuff, I do just have to tell you about our sponsor, DraftKings. So hockey fans, the pursuit for the Stanley Cup is on, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has an unbelievable offer for the most exciting playoffs in sports. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $100 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. Looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during playoffs? With DraftKings same-game parlays, you can do just that. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more. It's your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win and get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, so let's talk it. Let's talk, I guess, tour, because you guys are doing that first.
Yeah.
Let's talk No Boundaries. All right. I'm sorry, because it's the month anniversary. How do you feel response has been? Like, are you guys feeling happy about the release and just on cloud nine? And
yeah,
let's hear it.
I don't know. It's just surreal that it's out and it's been out for a month. And just kind of seeing everything on TikTok, on social media, people are reaching out. It's just crazy. Just the response to it has been incredibly insane. Forbes was at Topgolf the other day, and I don't remember if he just started talking to this guy. I think they were talking about tattoos, and they got into the conversation of music and pop punk, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually heading up to film a new music video for a former guest that you had on, Maddie from Lost for Words.
Oh.
And Mike goes, oh, like I love like a Lost for Words. I love Maddie. Like we're in this band called Outatime. He goes, oh, I've heard of you guys. And just being like, you heard of us? Like, I'm like, I'm still surprised my neighbors heard of us. But it's just crazy. Like it's one of those things that like I never expected like people in other states to actively like just listen to our stuff and actually like highly enjoy it. So it's still kind of like coming down and like realizing like we put out a few good songs there.
Yeah, I'd say definitely a bunch of bangers. You even have a freaking song about oatmeal. Like, not many pop punk bands can say that.
No, it's I don't know. It's just, it's still surreal to me. Like it hasn't like fully set in that this thing's been out for a month. It hasn't set in that it's out at all right now, and we're gearing up to put out another music video.
That was going to be my next question, because you had like kind of the two back to back or like pretty close to each other.
Yep.
I was like, I feel like they're due for another one.
Yeah, we have another music video coming out very soon. It's going to get announced. It's going to come out right before the tour. So we're trying to figure out logistics to release that one. And yeah, that one's going to be for Lost Boys.
Hell yeah. Like,
yep.
I was thinking like you were going to say like, yeah, we got another music video coming out, be end of summer. You're like, nope, probably like next week, because
yeah, like 2 weeks.
Tour is in like a week and a half.
Yeah, so we did 2 music videos back to back in 2021. One of them was Fall Start, and then literally the next day we went in and we did the video for Lost Boys, and we were kind of sitting on Lost Boys for a little bit, and the folks over at Revival Recordings was like, hey, how about we put this out, a little bit before tour hits, so we can kind of like push the album a little bit more like a month out, and also push the tour too, get people listening to Lost Boys a little bit, because Lost Boys is one of our favorite songs to play live, and we were just like, yeah, let's get it out. So I'm pretty sure it's going to get, one of these sites is going to get like exclusive release for it, and then it'll be out everywhere. I think the Friday after this Friday. So I think next week it's out.
So like literally like a day before tour.
Yeah. We'll probably be driving up to Connecticut and just have it release.
Well, at least you'll be able to do tons of posts and stuff about it.
Yeah, we'll have nothing to do.
Nothing to do in your 26-hour drive or whatever it's going to turn out to be.
I think we're splitting it up. So I think we're gonna drive up to Maryland. We're gonna do the 14 hours there, and then we're gonna crash in Maryland, wake up the next morning, and just take the 6 hours all the way to Connecticut. I think that's the plan. It's still gonna suck, but
it is still gonna suck. But 6 hours is not too bad.
No, and then every other drive after that's like 4 or 5 hours tops.
Yeah, we did a pretty kick-ass job routing this tour. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah,
you guys don't have anything too bad. I guess the longest one is from Charleston to Orlando, but you're gonna be like super pumped, like wrapped up the tour, and then you're like, oh wait, we still have 2 epic shows. Like 2 epic shows. So like, you guys are gonna just be stoked for that. So I'm super excited. I wish I could just go out on the entire tour, but then I will be single and my wife will be throwing divorce papers in my face.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And truthfully, I don't want to be in your van. Like, you guys have enough dudes in there, and
between us and Chris,
you said, like, I heard Forbes' interview saying like you have a no fart rule. Like, that is not gonna pass with 15 dudes in a van. Like, that is no chance that's gonna stand.
No, so it's actually, I think it's gonna be 10 of us.
10, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's only gonna be Greases come in as a 3-piece, and then with their drummer, it's gonna be 4. So it's gonna be 4 of them, 5 of us, and 1 merch guy.
Okay.
who was in Stormwall. He's the stormtrooper.
Sweet.
Yeah, he's also the guy wearing the Crease roll shirt. He's a huge Crease fan. So he's like, "Wait, you guys are going on tour with Crease?" He's like, "Bring me."
Just by chance, is it a guy by the name Tom Kennedy?
Oh, 100%.
Because I've noticed that he's going to all the events on Facebook, and I'm like, man, this guy is like pretty badass. Like he really wants to just follow this entire tour. And
well, yeah, he is technically.
I guess he technically is. All right,
he's driving with us.
Well, Tom, if you're listening, can't wait to meet you. You sound awesome.
He is a Devils fan, though.
Tom, you sound terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I have no bad blood with the Devils. They're irrelevant to me.
Yeah, honestly. but yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I don't know how the no fart rule is gonna go into effect. It probably won't.
It will last down the block. Maybe it'll get out of Florida.
I think one of the last times it happened really bad. It was not the last run that we did, the Pennsylvania, but it was the one we did with Dear Youth and the Magwas. And we flew up with everything. So everything was just in the back of the van, and we had like a little spot for someone to like sleep in the back. And Nick was back there sleeping, and we hit a bump, and it was bad. Like Nick launched up in the air, and he just let out a fear fart on the way back down, and he was just like, "I'm sorry."
Oh man.
So yeah, it's that rule is gonna get broken probably within an hour, 2 hours tops.
Yeah, it's gonna be one stinky van. Like by the time you get to Charlotte, you won't be able to pay me to step foot in that van.
We will we will be showering a lot though. So I will say we will have the luxury of because we don't do the, I hate to say it, like we don't do the weekend warrior stuff anymore where we just kind of like go and sleep in the van in the middle of a Walmart parking lot. I'm like, we might stay at a few places.
I think that's kind of the luxury of being in your 30s and touring.
And
right?
touring.
You guys all have full-time jobs. You're all normal human beings. This is kind of like
this is our vacation.
This is your vacation.
Yeah.
And Jono from the Swellers, like when he was talking about going out on a tour, that's how he described it. And I was like,
yeah,
man, that makes sense. Like that's a way you can sustain this and keep doing it for forever. Like if you're just like, you know what, I'm going to take 7 days, twice a year to just tour the country and like see cool places with my friends.
Yeah. And work's paying for it. We got PTO.
Yeah.
We've never had that before. And we have adult money now.
We're staying in a Motel 6, baby.
we got that discount through the whatever organization we're part of.
AARP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, AARP. Probably going to start getting that in like 10 years.
Jeez.
Someone on TikTok said that I was decades older than them. The word they used was decades. And I was like, you used MySpace. If you know what MySpace is, I am barely a decade older than you. I'm only 3 decades old.
Well, yeah. I doubt he was 10.
Yeah.
I hope not.
It's like, I hope you're not 15 because that would make this very awkward.
But dude, think about that. Like when we were 15 listening to like Newfound Glory, those dudes were like 20 something years old, 25 years old.
Yeah. I think they're all in their 40s right now. So I think they're only 4 or 5 years older than us, realistically.
Yeah.
Ian's a little bit older, but yeah, they're only like 5-6 years older than us like in total, which still blows my mind. I was like, wait, you're only like 41? I was like, wait a minute, I'm turning 34 this year. Holy shit.
Yep. It happens to the best of us. You can't stop time, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, so I don't think I told anyone this, but my birthday is actually the Monday after Bar Down Fest.
So how are you gonna keep the rage going?
I'm not. I'm gonna celebrate it that weekend
by sleeping.
Yeah, I have to somehow get Crease to the airport Sunday morning whenever they're flying out, and then I think we have family coming in town literally the next day. So
it's gonna be a busy couple. June's just gonna fly by.
June's
I feel
a
like June
busy
has.
month.
I feel like June's already flying by, but it's just gonna fly by, and I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the tour making its way from Hartford all the way down to Orlando. We got stops in Hartford, York, Pennsylvania,
Richmond,
Raleigh,
Charlotte,
Charleston, and then 2 nights in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So literally making it like down the entire coast of like you're not going to go further than Connecticut. Like why go up to Vermont to play a show? Like that's pretty much as far north you need to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Boston is the furthest north anybody should really.
But I feel like Connecticut and Boston are like
basically
pretty much on the
thing.
same line of latitude.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, it's only like a 2-hour drive, 2-3 hour drive tops.
Yeah, and you're just going east from Connecticut to Boston. So yeah, you guys are going up there and playing.
Mike and I are wearing our Whalers shirts.
I love that. And you're playing with some awesome local support. Like Lyndhurst is killing it. The word around town, absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
Destructo Disc, if you're into like kind of more like authentic punk music, they're killing it.
I'm trying to remember. Always Grounded is playing the Hartford show, and I think they're opening for someone pretty cool this weekend too. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Dude, I need to see that.
Keep Flying.
What is puppy fight going on right now?
Yeah, he's attacking the cat.
That sounds just like a little like Yorkie or something.
No, it's my little Shiba. The cat's just it's a Shiba Inu, but the cat's just like taunting him right now. Hey. There we go. Got their attention. Yeah, Wiz Ground is playing with Keep Flying, I think this weekend, honestly.
Hell yeah. And then Sad Sun, man. They got, and I couldn't put my finger on it, and I was playing it in the car over the weekend for Caitlin, and she's so good at like nailing who like bands sound like.
Yeah.
Where I'm not good at that. And she's like, oh, they kind of have like Origami Angel guitar parts. And now I can't stop listening to Sad Sun being like, oh wow, they do like have like obviously not vocally, like the vocalists don't sound the same, but
yeah,
instrumentally there's a lot of Origami Angel elements. And I'm like, man, this band rips. And like literally you guys are playing with like epic bands the whole way down. So I'm super excited to see how many kids come out to these shows, and it's going to be awesome for you guys. And then obviously you guys are playing Charlotte, so I'm super pumped for that. You're playing Raleigh, so you get to have all the Revival people out for that. And
I think this is the first time we're meeting everybody too.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's awesome to see everything come to life, and I'm super pumped for you guys. And then we got Elder Emo Night, which we already talked about, and then obviously we've talked about it for months now. But Bar Down Breakfest, year 1, it's happening. We got 12 awesome bands playing Orlando, just showcasing how special the Orlando scene is right now, and I'm just super pumped for just an all day just
a fair event. Basically. Yeah.
All day just epic music and epic hangs, and gonna be great.
I was actually hanging out with Jared from Last Disaster last weekend.
God, that band is so underrated. Like I know he's like, yeah, I'm a lawyer now. Like this band's just like for fun, but like geez, this band is so good, people. Trust me when I'm telling you, Last Disaster is so good. I can't wait to see them.
And I think this is officially their second show. Because I think they played one show before everything went down, and then they haven't played at all since. So this is going to be their second show ever playing these songs. We're going to have Brave Weather playing their third show ever. Felicity playing their 2000th show.
So can I just put it this way? Like, you can come to Bar Down Breakfest and be like, yeah, I saw Brave Weather when? Like you
literally.
You get to say that. Like, oh, I got to see Brave Weather at Will's. And that's kind of like what I get to say about Fall Out Boy. Like, yeah, I saw Fall Out Boy at the Downtown. Like,
yeah,
not many people can say that they saw Fall Out Boy in a less than 500 person venue.
Not a lot of people can say that.
Not a lot. And I'm going to say that until the day I die. Like, yeah, I got to see Fall Out Boy. Now they're playing arenas.
Like, yeah, now they're playing literal arenas. I think they played Nats Park.
Literally arenas. And you can say that about Brave Weather. Like, yeah, I got to see Brave Weather's third show, and now look at them. Like, they're doing XYZ, and it's going to happen. And you're going to have to get Tom and Mr. Deeds Foot to fill in for Tony when he's, like, touring with Mayday Parade or whatever. So,
trying to think of, like, some of the other bands that are playing. I think this is Gold Step's first time in Orlando. I know they played South Florida in the past. But I think this is their first time in Central Florida. Who else do we have on that bill? We have Suck Brick Kid playing. We have
obviously the Crease Rules first time in the country.
In the country. Well, it'll be their like 6th, 7th show in the country by then. But yeah, they're gonna be ripping it. We haven't had, I don't think we've had Sleeve Down in a little bit. Aim High comes down every so often, but that's going to be a really awesome set to see from them. Frontside, I think we've had Frontside down once or twice in the past. And
I think Glimmers in Magwas, right? This is their first time?
Yeah, this is Glimmer's first time south of Jacksonville, because I don't think they've ever played south of Jacksonville before. Magwas, this is their first time, I think, south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, so a lot of firsts and a lot of cool stuff, and you just got to get your tickets now because they're going to sell out, and you're going to be like, oh, I really wanted to go to that. Well, we told you for like 2 months to get your tickets, so.
They're going quick. I think every time we get like an update, it's just like another like 15 sold or another like 20 sold.
Yeah, I think like if we get to, half or 75%, like I'm going to be like, yep. This is good. And then with all the walk-ins and stuff, like we should be good.
Yeah, we'll just get like Wildlife to play a secret set after their set at the social. Speak that into existence.
Yeah. It's now out in the airwaves. Like, let's make that happen.
Kevin, if you're hearing this,
bring your big Game Boy. You see that?
It'll fit, I promise. It's so cool.
Jeez, man, that's a band that has taken like DIY to the next level. They're crushing it, and they're I'll never forget it. Like I saw them play the last Warped Tour, and he was just like, "Yeah, we're the bad boys of emo or the bad boys of acoustic rock," and I was just like, "That's such an oxymoron."
Well, it's crazy because Forbes toured with them back in the early 2000s when they were a full band, and they had just put out Heart Flip, and that's how I know them as from Heart Flip. And I was kind of like a easy core-esque pop punk band. Kevin was still on vocals, but that's why like when they put out the History, the Kevin's version, the new one that just came out where it's like full band-esque, I was like, ooh, I need this back in my life. I need full band This Wildlife back in my life ASAP.
Yeah, I feel like that band is like teetering being a career band.
Yeah.
Because they've eliminated, the labels and like the middleman in a lot of stuff, where they can actually make like enough money to live off of this,
to sustain it.
Yeah,
Plus
it's cool to see.
And they every tour is built, like they hand build everything. So it's
That's
really
what I mean.
cool,
Like
see
they do their own
process.
music videos now. They're just like everything that a band needs to do. They've kind of took
Perfected
on
it.
Yeah, and they've done it themselves, and that's why I think that they could be around a long time.
They could be the newfound glory of acoustic.
Yeah,
projects.
but it doesn't like I can't just call their last album and like an acoustic album anymore.
No.
There's so many layers and stuff to it, and so many like cool like turnover style guitar parts and stuff that I think they're more than just an acoustic band at this point.
Yeah, I think they even bring out like multiple members now to play like certain parts of songs. Because I think when they came down last time, they had like another person on guitar outside the two of them.
Yeah, they probably just make like their merch guy do it.
Probably, honestly.
It seems like because they put out all these videos about how they break down how much money they make from each show and everything. And they're probably just like, yeah, we're already paying this merch guy. We're going to now teach him the guitar parts we want.
He's playing guitar now.
He's also playing guitar.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember some of the other highlights for Bar Down Fest, and it's just so many bands. Well, and it's just going to be such a good time.
You can be humble and say Outatime as well. Like you got another hometown band that is fresh off a new album playing their first, like I know you guys played an emo night, and like this is like kind of like an album release show for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're playing almost every song.
So it's an album release show.
Yeah, we've practiced every song, and I think we're just gonna rip them. I'm trying to tell Tony, I was like, hey, do you wanna do it like a earlier Brave Weather set? He's like, I don't know, whichever band plays later. He's like, I'm gonna be super warmed up for. So
he's gonna be a tired, sweaty man.
Yep, it's gonna be it. I told him, I'm like, just bring an extra set of clothes.
Well, Justin, let's just wrap this up real quick because we do have a lot coming up. That's why we did this episode. There's still 4 teams left in the playoffs. We got possibly I would say a very strong possibility there might be a Stanley Cup final game on either during Elder Emo Night or during Bar Down Breakfest. So that's kind of bringing it full circle. That'd be a lot of fun to watch together while we're watching like an emo night, and like there we go.
It'll be on at emo night. Like we will have it on at the TVs.
Yeah. If there's a Stanley Cup game like that night, it's gonna be on, and that's just another element of awesomeness, and super pumped for that. But I guess before we let you go, Justin, anything else we can expect from Outatime? You dropped that we got the music video. Anything else working? I know that like you guys had this album, No Boundaries, recorded for a while, so you're probably itching to get back in the studio at this point.
Yeah, we actually were in the studio in January. We did a special cover for Revival Recordings. They're putting out a compilation hopefully in the summer, early fall, with every band on the label, I believe. We're all doing different covers from a certain decade. Not a decade under the influence. Well, I mean, it could be a decade under the influence depending on who you're talking to. But it's not a Taking Back Sunday cover compilation, I promise. I wish. But yeah, we went in, we did a cover of a really cool song. I really can't really tell any much more without giving it away. But yeah, I'm really excited for that one to come out. That was I think one of the first times like we actually all came together to write a full song with this lineup. So I know like Tony Alisea, this was like the first time like he was actually like really involved in like the songwriting process since joining the band, because I think he joined and we had all the No Boundaries done and we had it like 80% recorded, and he just had to record his drum parts, and he went in there and just like redid all the drums. But this is like the actual first time we actually sat down in a room together and we were like, all right, this is we broke everything apart. So this is going to be like a true Outatime cover, for lack of a better term. And then yeah, we're still pushing No Boundaries as much as possible, but we're already, I think, 2 or 3 new songs deep. Just kind of just writing and doing what we can just to kind of just prep for whatever the future is going to be.
Love to hear that, dude. Super pumped to see the music video for Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm.
That should be cool. Like, is it a Hook theme? And why?
No.
And why isn't it a Hook theme?
I think it was we kind of wanted to stay away from like the Harry Potter theme behind it. Not the Harry Potter, Peter Pan. I'm sorry. But I think it's more of like an homage to kind of like being in Orlando and kind of like being within that whole Disney vibe. But yeah, it's not Peter Pan or Hook-esque, but it's a pretty cool music video. It's different than what we normally do.
Okay.
So I'm excited for it.
We'll be on the lookout for that, and definitely catch Outatime as they're making their way down the East Coast, and then down at Elder Emo Night at Hourglass Brewery, and at Will's and Uncle Lou's for Bar Down Breakfest. So we got a lot to get to you
through
people.
For this June.
June is going to be busy, but I like busy. And thanks for hanging out, Justin, and filling in for Mr. Deeds. And
hopefully we get him back soon.
We're gonna have to just like put him up on his wheelchair and like crowd surf Tom at Bar Down Breakfast. That needs to happen.
Oh man, that'd be fun.
I'm pretty sure the ceilings are pretty low at Will's, but
no, it's high enough where we can put him up.
All right, I'm gonna start working out these next 18 days so I can lift him up.
It's stage dive worthy.
All right, so if you're listening and you want to help Tom crowd surf in his wheelchair, just come say hi at Bar Down Breakfast, and we're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, we just need like 4 people, 5 people to like lift it up by each wheel.
Yeah, Tom has cut down on the LBs, so maybe 4 people can get it done.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one, just to have them thrown up during a crease roll set. We'll do it. We'll put them up in TIG 1.
All right. There's nothing I love more in this life than just like embarrassing Tom and making him do things that he hates. And now I'm super excited to do this, so it's gonna happen.
We got to do it.
All right. Well, Justin, my face hurts from smiling so much, so I'm going to let you go.
Perfect.
All right, brother. Thanks for hanging, and go listen to Outatime. Don't be dumb.
Yeah. Catch us on tour.
All right. Peace, brother.
Later, man.